Hey, hey, so super excited to be here tonight. Wow, there are people pouring in to the Zoom, and I am Lindsay Gramont, and tonight we are going to catch the vision. Well, I hope you're going to catch the vision. I know that there was a point in time where I really wasn't sure and was thinking to myself, just sitting in I really had a good corporate job. I had worked for IBM for almost 15 years. And I was, a mom to a beautiful baby girl and a wife to a great husband who was trying to figure out what he was going to do. And just felt like overwhelmed quite often, actually. And I remember asking myself, like, what am I doing? Right? Is this like really what I want to be doing? And why do I feel like there's something missing? And it wasn't like I was comparing myself to anyone else. I just kind of felt like I was sleepwalking through life. I had Zoom calls with, I mean, it wasn't Zoom then, but it was some kind of conference calls that I was doing really super early in the morning with a bunch of people to talk about technical stuff. I mean, I was at IBM. I was working for a lot of companies that I started to realize I didn't really agree with what their practices were. And it just kind of felt like something was off. And I really wondered, what can I do that is different? And I really feel like those are literally the best questions that you can ever ask yourself. Like, what am I doing? What could I be doing? Has anyone here, if you want to type in the chat window, if you're watching the replay, if you might like have ever considered those kinds of questions, it's probably why you're on the call here tonight. Like, what am I doing? Right? And those are the best questions. And the fact that you're here right now means something. It means something. So you're here looking for something, looking for purpose. And purpose is like the perfect antidote to boredom, to these questions of what am I doing, and also to depression. If you really think about it, when you're walking in purpose, there's really no room to feel stuck, to feel unworthy, to feel these feelings of fear and what am I doing here, right? You wouldn't have those kinds of questions if you could just figure out your purpose. This is kind of the hard part. 98% of people don't really ever figure this out. It's like they have all these gifts and things. Every single person on this planet we know has been endowed with beautiful gifts, with beautiful purpose, but there's a lot of fear out there, right? There's a lot of fear because really our whole lives we've been told why we can't do something, why we shouldn't be doing something, and why we're going to fail at something, right? And so we get that input so much that really 98% of people just kind of stay where they are. They stay stuck. They kind of live a life of mediocrity and they don't really go past that point. But when you start asking these questions, you open up your mind to maybe become somebody who wants to start to figure this out. And that's just part of all of our journeys, right? So I don't know if that's you or not. But one of those kinds of people wakes up and really starts to figure out, oh, wait, I could change. I could make different choices. I could design it differently. And tonight you're going to hear some stories from people, from lots of different people who kind of hit that moment where they were like, this is not what I want to be doing. And I feel like I could be doing something else. I feel like could be doing something more. Whether that goal, I mean, for me, I honestly don't think it was like that one wake up call where I decided, oh, I'm going to, be this super successful, blogger and, oil salesperson or whatever. That it wasn't that. It was these small steps that I really didn't know that were going to equal this big thing, right? I just wanted to figure out my health. And I was researching healthy recipes and how to eat traditional foods and how to eat unprocessed foods. And I wanted a place where I could document my recipes. And so then I figured out, okay, I don't really like any of the places online where I can document my recipes. So I'm going to just create my own blog. I'm going to figure that out in the middle of the night when I have no time and I'm working this corporate job and I have a small baby? Like, why would I do that? Again, you're kind of driven by, okay, there's something more here. I don't know what the steps are, but I've got to put my recipes in this place because I want to be able to find them later. Oh, wait, people are starting to ask me about them. People want to make them. People are interested in what I'm doing. What? So it's these small steps, these small questions we start to ask ourselves. And that's the question I want to pose to you tonight. As you go through and listen to this, what does it open up for you? What kind of fears does it open up for you? What kind of ideas does it open up for you? And if you knew you couldn't fail and you could actually move forward with those ideas step by step, where would it end up taking you? Okay? So that was totally me. Had no idea what I was going to be doing this, but it led down this path of becoming at the top rank of this amazing company and, earning more money than I really had ever asked for or wanted, because of the fact that I was just helping people learn about health. And I do work hard, and I probably work harder now than I worked at my corporate job. I work a lot harder. And the difference is, though, from my full-time job, is that I get to choose my priorities. I get to decide when I work hard and when I rest and when I play, and I get to make my own mistakes. And maybe I did some of that in the corporate job, but it was always for somebody else. And I just love that I get to decide, and I get to choose to work on new things. I get to choose to learn new things, and I get to choose to travel to different countries, to focus on different countries, to learn new cultures. I get to do things that are scary, and I get to decide if I am too afraid to do them, and I get to decide if I'm open to that opportunity or closed. I get to decide if I'm going to mess up and I'm going to be stuck. I get to decide, how am I going to get unstuck, right? I get to ask myself these questions. And I think that for me, it has been the best kind of therapy. I remember hearing that early on in this business, that this kind of business, or just being an entrepreneur in general, is truly the best kind of therapy. Because when you're not getting the results that you want, you get to figure out why, and you get to work on yourself. And that, to me, and being able to surround myself with people who care about the same things, who care enough to ask these questions, because really, honestly, there isn't one person on this phone right now. There isn't one person listening to this video that isn't thinking about all of these questions. And you may or may not realize it, but not many people want to ask these questions. And probably all the people around you right now would be very uncomfortable with this kind of conversation. So the fact that you're here shows something. And to be able to surround yourself with this many people, how many people are on here right now? I don't know. There are, almost like 150 people who actually care about these kinds of questions. That is growth. That is shifting to a growth mindset. And that's the kind of thing I want for my kids. And so just figuring that out, like, how do we learn to not just to know, not just listening to this call and saying, okay, now I know Lindsay's story, but more about, okay, what does that story mean for me? And how can I learn to be different? How can I learn to do different? That is the key. So not just learning to know, but learning to be and learning to do is what makes the difference. Learning to struggle to figure it out. So in this business, we can learn all three of those things. And that is what helps us ultimately to craft our own vision for our life and to move to a place where, it's all designed by us, right? We get to choose. So if that's for you, you might have joined this call, I just thought that catch the vision sounded really interesting. I want to catch some vision. I mean, a man without a vision will perish, right? So what is that vision for me, for my life? What is that reason? What is that purpose that I just care to grow a little bit? Maybe it's just to, right now, I just got to pay some extra bills. get my husband off my back, or I want to send my kid to a better school and I need to pay for that, or I need to buy some healthier food and I don't want to have to worry about it, or whatever the case may be. I'd love to leave my job, whatever it is. It's really ultimately the underpinning of it all is you can do any of those things. And then once you figure out how to do that, you can do more things. And so I want to just put that out there, that it's about a growth mindset. You can do research on a fixed versus growth mindset. There's some really great YouTube videos out there about that. But when you move into that growth mindset and then you're stepping out of fear and into growth, then the sky is really the limit. And that's where your vision really starts to take shape. So I want to hop to our first story, and that is, well, other than mine, but that is with Jonathan and Brittany. And I don't know, you guys can take yourselves off mute. I think when you start talking, I'll be able to see you and highlight you as the active speaker here. Are you there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey, I can't see you, so I need to try and find you here. Switch to the active speaker here. Okay. There you are. Okay, awesome. Hey guys.
Hi.
So for you, where was that moment when you caught the vision, and what were you doing and what questions were you asking yourself?
Oh, goodness. Okay, so that moment that we caught the vision, I feel like started right from the get-go with me. When we signed up with our kit, we actually signed up with Kara, and she's actually going to be sharing part of her story. And she showed us the income disclosure, and that kind of was like, what? You can make money doing this? Like, and I feel like that was more of a guy thing. I don't know. I mean, maybe. I was just like, okay, numbers. Wow. You're a gold leader, you're making about what, $5,000-$6,000 a month. Brittany, let's do that. She absolutely was like, absolutely not. We are not doing that. We're going to get our kit of oils and that's it.
I thought it was a huge joke. I'm like, that's monopoly money. You know, we've always known you just go to school for 4 years or longer, like,
yeah.
And then you get a degree, you work till you retire, you barely live off of what you put in Social Security. That was just the norm. Okay, that's all I knew. So I was like, that's a joke. Are you kidding me? I'm about to have this baby. Or we just had a baby. I'm like, no, are you joking? So I was very anti-business, which is so funny that he's the one that convinced me to do the business. And it took you, what, 6 to 8 months?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was finally like, okay, let's just, let's just have some of your friends over. And she signed a couple people up and she's like, hey, making money off of this.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think I love the stuff so much.
Loved it. Yes.
That I couldn't help talk about it, which, it's like you buy your favorite pair of jeans, you're going to tell somebody. You eat a yummy restaurant, you're going to tell your friends. So it was just like that for me. It was so easy. Someone comes to my house, they're like, what is that incense that's burning? So of course I'm telling them all the things and they're like, well, I want to get some of those. So it was just really rolling in. I was like, wow, like maybe this is a possibility.
Maybe Jonathan was right.
Maybe this guy was right.
So now
I caught the vision.
So now y'all are in a place where life has changed a lot. So what's different now?
What's different now? So I work full-time at the hospital as a nurse anesthetist. So I've actually been able to cut my hours back. And that has been actually a huge blessing. We just brought in our second baby 10 months ago now. So it's been a huge help for me physically to be at the house because, you guys, I had to spend the whole weekend with both the boys when Brittany went to this doula training. And it is a lot of work to be a single parent, to be at the house with 2 kids, 2 toddlers. So kudos to all the moms that are on here doing this. I mean, you guys are rock stars, right? But just being here to be that support system, to be her helpmate, to be, here for the kids. Like, I don't want to be known as a business person. I want to be known as a great husband, a great father. And to be that, I feel like I need to be present. I need to be invested. And the only way I can do that is to be able to cut hours from work and have some sort of a residual or supplemental income. And that's where, Young Living has stepped in.
And we've been able to pay off a ton of our debt. We had lots of student loans from my undergrad, Jonathan's undergrad, and grad school, and lots of that is paid for, and it's because of Young Living. We've had this extra income. That's been a huge blessing for us. And I've been able to not go back to work. I worked 12-hour night shifts at the hospital. So I'm able to stay home with my boys and work when I want to, work hard when I, work hard, and I'm able to make 5-6 times what I did as a nurse. So it's a huge blessing.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you guys so much for sharing that. And I love that you guys are doing this together. And I love that, you guys, you talk about like, okay, how can I get my husband on board? Show him the income disclosure is really what we're hearing here, right?
Yes.
Show him the money, right? And then they'll probably get on board with this. So thank you so much for being that inspiration. And you mentioned that thank you. And for the idea. Thank you for coming on. And Kara, you're here somewhere. I gotta find Kara on here. Thanks, guys.
I'm here.
Hey, Kara.
Hi.
What's up, girl?
Good to see you.
So, Kara, tell us a little bit about when that shift happened for you. Kara is someone I know very well from before Young Living days, and just love her. So I'm just gonna let her do her thing.
Yeah. So I'm really excited. I had a huge shift in my second month. My second commission check was really what got me. Is that first one, I signed up my mom, and I had my testimony for the products, and I was just started text messaging some friends like, have you tried these yet? Oh my gosh, like this is what it did for me. I can't believe it. Have you tried these yet? And that's kind of how the business started going for me. And then I got that second check, and my second check was about $867 or something like that. And I sat there and I looked at that check and I was like, okay, what I just did for that almost $900 versus what I did when I had my own general contracting and real estate broker, firm, this whole business I had in that field, like it was night and day. It was just completely different. I was home and present with my kids. I was homeschooling. I was, doing the things that I wanted to do in my life. And I felt like I was more on purpose and helping people. And I made money, and I was paying our grocery bill. I was contributing to the household, but I was doing the things that supported the family at the same time. And it was just such a light bulb moment. I was like, what if I did this more intentionally? What would that look like for us? And I watched, as I did that, and I started taking that to heart, how it grew and how it really started to continue to impact our family and our lives, to the point where Andrew, my husband, was able to quit his corporate job. We paid off his MBA loan that got him the level of job that he had, but he left it because of what we had built together with this business. And it's just been amazing. And I looked over my shoulder. I'm sitting in my RV at the Southern Christmas show this week. And I looked over my shoulder and I saw a quote that says, "Never lose the spark that makes you you." And I'm getting choked up just saying it out loud. But I feel like there was this point in my life where I was trying to, make money to help support the family. I wanted to contribute, and I felt guilty about being just a mom. But I also wanted something for myself. I wanted to enhance that creative spirit that I had, the entrepreneurial spirit. And this is the vehicle that gave me that back, that helped me reconnect with who I truly am. And I think it was even more powerful to me than the amazing paycheck that I earn every single month from Young Living.
That's huge. I mean, that's that major shift where you realize that your gifts, can be enhanced and can grow every month, right? Every time you learn something new, that you become more and more yourself, right? You're becoming you in that process. And you are definitely the total success story of that. I feel like so much of your personal growth journey you have shared, and it has helped so many people in that process to just get past those fears. And I know there was a point where you weren't sure, you believed, and at every point you have had that. You've hit that point where you're like, could it go anywhere past this point? What, can you tell me a little bit more about that? Like where you're just get to a point where you're here, and how you get past that?
Absolutely. I got to the point where I was gold, and this is right around, just a few months after I met Brittany and Jonathan. it was a February. I remember just laying on the couch in my CrossFit hoodie, eating a bag of chips, feeling sorry for myself because I just missed hitting platinum, the next rank in Young Living. And I was like, what do I need to do? What's going wrong? It's in that little like weird self-pity moment, not feeling the gratitude of how far I had come. And I just really started to move into that personal development mode and realizing I was putting my own ceiling over my head. I was limiting myself. And it was because of just, what I believed that I was worthy of, how I felt about money. I felt all this weird guilt and like it was bad to earn more money than my parents had, or, to get into that point where, you want money or something like that. But there's so much good that money can do for the world. And when that money is in the hands of amazing people who have this vision to really make some positive change, it's powerful. And we have the opportunity to help so many people with this money that we earn through this vehicle, and still be here for our families, still do the things that we want to do with our lives. And I just think it's something that we all need to realize is possible for ourselves, and it's all there for us.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Kara, for sharing that. That was a total mic drop.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, next up is Kimberly Bernstein, who I hope can come off of mute and will pop up here in front of me.
Am I here?
Hey, there you are. Yes. I can't wait to
Yay.
see you in a couple nights. You're going to be back. But what point, you have such a story. What point, at what point and what multiple points did your mindset shift, and what gives you that kick in the pants?
All right. So it wasn't just one, as you just said, it wasn't one moment for me. It was, I got my oils to support you, which I think is hilarious because I had no idea how very much this would do for me. And I very early on had a health issue and fixed it very quickly and was like, oh, okay, so this is an option. And then had a bigger health issue that I very divinely heard. If you have an option here, you have something you can research, you can look into. I was looking at struggling between physical health and emotional health because the medication that I was taking was harming my physical body. And it became very clear that I had an option. I could look into supporting my body and my wellness in an alternative way. And then once I did that, I very clearly knew that I couldn't keep that to myself. And so Lindsay, it's like, you can do this as a business, knew that I was struggling financially, and I do it. Dragged me kicking and screaming into sort of co-hosting a class. And we made 9 million things. I don't think anybody from that first Big and Take enrolled ever.
We had no idea what we were doing.
But I knew that my health was changing, and I knew that I had to share that. And I was watching you. We had been acquaintances because of friends, and I was watching you do it. And I remember maybe like 2 months into using the oils, I wanted them paid for because I wanted to continue to use them for my wellness, and our financial situation was a struggle. So I thought, well, if I can just get them paid for, then it's not an issue. And I remember saying to my husband, maybe 3 or 4 months into my oil journey, I can do this too. And he actually said, no, you can't. You're not a blogger. You're not Lindsay. And I was like, no, I know that I can. And I think that was the beginning of like, there must be a way. And I was fortunate enough, my enroller, Lindsay, was a blogger and had a huge following and had a 4-year career before Young Living. And I always feel that way, that you built this before we started. But for me, I saw the people that helped you get started. I watched April Pointer, and I remember going to be like, a class, how do we do that? We did it very badly and figured it out. So
That
I
is
think
the
that
best. I like that's the, like so important to understand is that there's like so many different ways to do this, right? And anytime the cool thing about it is like what I said, anytime you don't know, you just figure it out, right? You do it badly and then you realize, okay, that wasn't so great. And then you learn to do it better.
exactly. So
And so
it's
how is
been
life different now?
I live in a different country. So there's that. I was a very stressed out mom of 3 small children. I taught 35 to 40 fitness classes at that time a week, and yoga and fitness, and I dragged kids everywhere. My marriage was not going to make it at the rate that we were going. And fast forward 5 years later, we're pursuing our dreams. We're not waiting for them. We are living in Mexico. Our kids are at a Waldorf school, which I absolutely adore. And we were bringing my husband home last July. So it's changed. I think that if we had been in a situation where we had been in corporate America continuing to work, we would have worked ourselves into having nothing left. We would have been looking at being 65 and having, getting the kids out of the house and being like, what's left for us? And now we get to create this journey together and really give our kids what we think is best. And it's absolutely amazing. And the number of people that I get to love and be loved by, and the frequency raising that I get to be a part of, is something that I would not trade for anything.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Kimberly. I need to mute someone here. I'm not really sure how from the app that I'm using, but thank you so much, Kimberly, for sharing that. And I think it's really a huge testament to all of the work that you did. You worked super hard for that, and you continue to work hard. And everyone talking is not ever finished. I'm not ever finished. I mean, none of us. We're all a work in progress, and this is a long-term lifestyle. It's not just one rank to the next, right? So thank you so much for sharing that. I want to go next to Kristen Boucher. Are you on? Where's Kristen?
I'm here.
Hey, hey.
Hey, hey.
Yay, I can see you. Okay,
Yay.
perfect.
Awesome. Thank you so much for pulling this together. This is amazing.
I know. I'm
So
super
inspiring.
thrilled.
I love
And I love seeing you because I have to tell this story quickly because before you jump in. So Kristen is the best because she knows how to ask questions, a lot of questions. In the very beginning, I think Kristen had so many questions that I wasn't even sure I could answer them all. And she has really insightful questions. And I think during that time, she was really thinking a lot about doing this. But it took you a while to actually do it, right? So I would love for you to share that process of like, I'm just going to ask all the questions.
Oh my gosh. So I think I calculated it was 6 months from the day Stephanie asked me to get started to the actual enrollment date. So that doesn't count the time before that when you all were doing this oily stuff while we were blogging. And I'm like, what the hell is everyone doing? Like, what is this? So I'm watching and I'm seeking questions and I'm getting answers. And meanwhile, I'm blogging and I'm running health coaching and online detox and weight loss programs. I'm a nurse by trade and I'm exhausted. My adrenals are shot because I'm a one-woman show. Like that's what we are when we're bloggers. We're solopreneurs. We don't have like an infrastructure that's supporting us for financial, like it's like we are doing it when our kids are sleeping. And I had a little tiny baby at the time and a 4-year-old, and I was exhausted. And, my hormones were shot, and I was seeking all these questions about my hormones. So Lindsay and Steph, just get a kit. Okay, fine. And the reason I got a kit was because my friend, Jenny Pitts, said to me, hey, when are you going to start doing Young Living? Because I want to get a kit and I want you to be my sponsor. And I'm like, oh, okay, fine. So I messaged Stephanie and said, okay, what do I need to do? I got a friend that wants to enroll. She wants me to be her sponsor. long story short, I enrolled, and then I gave her my number, not having a clue what I was doing. And that began my journey. And I was really just trying to, I rejected, obviously, the business model of Young Living. I really didn't understand it at all, clearly. And it took me about 6 months from the time I got started to really understand that. And I thought my only understanding was like affiliate marketing, putting links into my blog and getting a paycheck for that. And then it was when Kara Facebook messaged me and said, hey, want me to come teach a class for you? And I was like, ooh, I don't know about that. That's kind of like getting too much into my personal space. And like, I like to keep things separate, online presence, personal presence. So then I thought about it and I'm like, all right, you can come and teach a class. So she came up from North Carolina to Massachusetts. I think it was like the coldest weekend ever. That was, I think, our worst winter in like historically. It was like blizzard, the beginning of like Blizzardgeddon. And she taught the class and people enrolled, and I was like, I can do this. And that was really the shift for me in, okay, I'm going to like now start actually pursuing this. And in fact, it was my husband, Darren, bless him, who said, I really think you should pursue this business. And I was like, no, I'm doing my own thing. But I should have listened to him a lot sooner. And it was just such a huge shift when I could figure out, I just read a script and I invite people over and I teach a class and I show people how to do that. Oh, okay. Well, I can do that.
And so how is life different now as compared to when you were doing all the whole blogging solopreneur stuff?
Oh, it's so much better. Well, I've completely retired from nursing. I guess I'm a retired nurse, which is kind of cool to say at 42 years old. It's replaced my entire nursing income and then some. Being home with my girls, that was my biggest why from the beginning, to be an entrepreneur. So I could be there with them when they were little, and now they're 6 and 10, and I'm putting them on the bus in the morning to go to school. I'm there to take them off the bus at the end of the day and hustle them to activities and all kinds of crazy stuff. We're able to travel. I'm able to go volunteer in their classroom, go on field trips. And then most importantly, I live in a beautiful coastal community in Massachusetts, and we truly live, I'm sure my team can agree with this, we live for the 2 months out of the year that are called summer. So when the girls are home on summer vacation, the fact that I don't have to put them in camp and like so many other hardworking parents do is the biggest blessing, that I can be there for them, with them, and just really enjoy the days that they actually want to be with me. Like, I know there's going to come a time when they just don't want to hang out with mom anymore. So I'm going to just live this up and enjoy every second of it. So it's just been such a huge blessing. And I'm so grateful to you, Lindsay, for starting this and saying yes to this. I know it took you a while too to say yes. So thank you, because we are all here because of your decision to get a starter kit.
Yes, that's actually a crazy way to think about it, right? Like there's
All right.
There would not be everyone else here. There would not be this community. And I think that's the real difference that I've seen from blogging, and I'm sure you would agree, is that in blogging, you don't know, it's these voiceless and faceless readers, right? It's you don't know people personally until you really do something like this, because this builds community. And that is the huge difference, I think, in being a solopreneur versus being a network marketer, is that it is all about community and people skills. It's not just about like writing in the background and including some link and link and click and content, right? It's like, this is relationships, and that's why I think it's the best kind of therapy. So, and I think every blogger would agree with that. So, and the funny thing is you're not even building this business how you built your blog. You've been doing a lot of in-person classes. That's what you like.
Yeah, I find that, and I think I gravitated towards blogging because I could just get behind the computer and just do whatever. But I think I got sick of that. Like it just felt so isolating. So yeah, we've really built very locally in our area. We've got a huge team in southeastern New England, I guess, southern New England, really. And I just love the person to person. I love the community aspect of it. We all get together and we just have so much fun. So it's like, it really is like a big family that you can choose.
Right.
the best kind. So,
That's
yeah,
awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that story and for, I think, enlightening everyone on the challenges of just trying to earn extra income so that we can be home with our families and to decide what we get to do, right? And not decide our own schedules. So thank you for that.
Amen.
And thank you for being you and your smiling face. I love it. All right, we have time for one more story. And this story is going to be from Allie Raskin, who... Allie, speak up. Are you there?
Howdy,
we can see you. Hi. Allie is like my bestie. I'm not gonna shy away from saying it. We talk every day, and I had to drag her into doing this too. And literally, just I think learning through this with you and working through this with you is one of the biggest blessings that I have had in doing my business. And I learn a lot from working with you. And so I appreciate that. So when did the thing shift for you? Because you also, like me, worked a corporate job and you earned really good money. So what made you shift to trying to do this instead?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because Lindsay, for quite a while kept trying to. It's very different when it's your closest friends. You speak to your closest friends differently, right? And so I was in this position where I was really good at what I did, and I had what I like to call the golden handcuffs, right? So I had this career, I worked from home, and I made ridiculous amounts of money to have like this corporate career, but I was not fulfilled at all for my career. The bank account was full, but my heart was not full. And I remember vividly one day driving with my husband down the highway, and I let out this huge sigh. And he's like, "What is going on?" And I was like, "I just want to do something that makes the world a better place. Like, I just want to help other people get healthy." I had a really sick baby. Lindsay and I had reconnected after college because of nutrition and natural health. And I was obsessed with it, right? Like, that's where my brain was all the time, was, having healthy food and keeping my family well and helping my friends do the same. But I hadn't caught the Young Living vision yet. And part of that was because I think Lindsay was a little afraid to tell me how much money she was making at Young Living. And it really was when she told me the dollar amount that she was making that I was like, whoa, wait, what? I could do this instead of that and make really good money. In fact, she wasn't even a Royal Crown Diamond then. She was a platinum then, which is what I am now. And I just was like, oh my gosh, this is real deal. Like, I really could make a career out of this. So it didn't start that way though at all for me. It was Lindsay asking me if she could come teach a couple classes in Dallas. And we enrolled pretty much like everyone. And I hit executive after 2 classes because I just was like, come over for a party! It's gonna be fun! And like the party just like, people were like, I was not expecting this, but holy cow, wow, I'm in, right? I want to use these oils. And so it was a lot of soul searching in between those first couple of classes, and I'm going to quit my corporate job. And let me tell you, I was not even silver when I left my corporate career, but I went to Israel. I had a lot of soul searching. Yes, very blue. I did a lot of soul searching on, I really want to make the world a better place. I talk to my children all the time about like how to make the world a better place. And I'm not doing that every day. Like, how do I do every day what I want my children to be doing? This is how. So I quit my job a day after I got home from Israel, after doing a ton of soul searching and frankly praying. And I hit silver within, I think, a week or 2 after that. And then I hit gold pretty shortly after that too. And then I hit a point where I was like, oh my gosh, I think I need to go back to corporate America. I'm stuck at gold. I can't do this. Like, I don't understand why I can't keep growing. And what I realized, and you will all come to this point, there is so much personal development that you get from this business that is like priceless, like for your entire life, not Young Living, like for life. This is like the best personal development ever. And it was when I started really doing personal development for myself, which is like a consistent, like I still do it, need it, and every day, right? But the more personal development I did, and the more I cared, the more you care about others and the more personal development you do, the more you rank up. And that's, I think, the most beautiful part is that, like, the more I love and care for others, the better my paycheck gets. And I don't even mean it to. Like, you just pour into others and somehow that comes back to you in this business, which is amazing. I don't know if I talked too long, but.
No, you're totally fine. And so how is life different now that you do this full time and you've had these shifts and you're learning and growing and struggling and figuring it all out?
I mean, everything's different now. I mean, I get to work when I want to work. And I work hard, but I work hard because I don't never ever feels like work. Like, I'm like, you know, my friends are like, oh, you're doing all this stuff. And I'm like, I just am having fun. Like, yes, I'm very blue. Like, I am motivated by fun. Fun for me is helping others and having fun with people. And the fact that I can make a living helping others and having fun is a little obscene and amazing. But I get to raise my children. I used to miss everything. I traveled Italy, like most of the weeks I traveled twice a week with my corporate career. And literally my nanny was seeing everything that I wanted. I waited to have my children. I wanted children so badly. And then I wasn't raising my own children, which really stunk. Like, even working at home, I was like, shush. I worked with all men. They couldn't make any noise outside. I worked from home. So I was constantly shushing my children. So it just was really, really quite amazing. So anyway, yes,
Thank you.
I have a kid coming in to get a dog.
I know. I just had a husband coming in to leave the baby monitor because he wants to go to the grocery store. So this is life. This is real life. And what I love is that we get to live it together and we get to live it imperfectly together. And the whole purpose of this call, and thank you everyone else who shared their stories. There are so many stories like this. I mean, with a team of over 75,000 people worldwide, there are countless stories of people from all the way from, I just want to get, my oils paid for. I just want to help, enroll my mom, to, oh my gosh, all of a sudden I have a business. I didn't mean to have a business. How do I figure this out? I didn't want this responsibility, but now I love this responsibility, to, oh, I really want to do this and I'm going to go right ahead and quit my job, right? There are so many different stories. And I think even for me, just hearing and being exposed to so many different kinds of stories and so many different kinds of people helps my vision, helps me to constantly change and evolve and think bigger than I ever thought. Because really, the sky's the limit, and we only put these lids on ourselves when we're just completely, again, like what Kristen said, like we're just isolated, right? We're isolated and don't even know what's possible. But when we join calls like this, when we do interesting things and we step outside our comfort zone and we say yes, then all kinds of new worlds and possibilities open to us. So thank you so much for joining tonight. I hope you caught some renewed vision and that you start asking yourselves these questions and that you reach out now to the person who got you started, or even to one of us, and say, hey, I want to do a class with you. I would like for you to help me do this, whatever that is. I want you to help me do a social media post. I want you to help me hit this particular goal. I want to earn $500 a month more. I want to earn $1,000 a month. I need to leave my job, so in a year, I want to earn $15,000 a month. Whatever that goal is, please tell somebody. There is no point in listening to this call and then not doing anything about it. Again, we learn how to know. We learn to know, we learn to be, we learn to do. So go out and do it. And I can't wait to hear from some of you what your vision is now. Have a great night. Bye-bye.